All right, here we go. Episode number 4 of
The Handbag Husband.
The Handbag Husband. Yay! So today I want to do a video about one of the questions that we see a lot of time in the purse forums, you know, the Reddits and the purse blogs and all those kinds of things like that, is the purse socials, as we call them all together, which is how much money should you be making before you feel comfortable getting a quota bag. And we've been through this kind of a couple of different times, starting as being super duper poor and then not being super duper poor anymore. At least feeling comfortable enough to buy a quota bag. So I think that qualifies us at least to have an opinion about it.
Yeah.
And ideally, I think she's talking about, obviously, Kelly Birkin. Probably just Kelly and Birkin. Yeah.
I think so.
I don't think they're throwing Constance in there. I don't think they're throwing the other ones in there. Specifically, we saw there was one person on Reddit. The information that she gave out was that she is 29 years old. She is single. She lives in New York City, and she makes $140,000 a year. And it seems like she's really just sort of like struggling, and we know this struggle well, but kind of struggling, doing some like mental gymnastics in her head to justify purchasing one of these quota bags. I don't know if she was offered one or not. She didn't mention that, but she's just kind of trying to figure out what is her comfort level financially for that, and if it's the right time in her life to do that. And again, I think she's probably looking at a Kelly Birkin that's in like a natural color. It's probably not exotic. It's probably not anything too strange. It's probably just straight down the middle kind of beginning bag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that and try to figure out where does that comfort level lie, or at least what we think. And I think your opinion might be a little bit different than mine.
Yeah. Because I mean, I feel like it could be nerve-wracking of trying to get your first one.
Oh, the first one was rough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again,
And with us too. So I totally understand that. I feel like many people would have the same concern.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's talk about her situation specifically first. So what do you think? Just those stats. How would you kind of assess this and give her a recommendation for this?
Well, what's the debt to income ratio? That would be
Yeah.
my first question, right?
Yeah.
What's the debt to income
Yeah.
ratio? Like student loan, car, maybe not car, because in New York City, again, we don't know anything. But first look at your debt to income ratio and then kind of like lay it out, or what would be your like spending money that we won't feel like guilty about it, and then start from there.
Do you think she's in the right spot?
Let's say she has no debt.
Okay.
Okay, she has no debt, and she doesn't have a bad habit. Let's say what's the income again?
29 years old.
$140,000.
And she lives in New York City.
Okay, let's say she has about 5,000 on like spending, like leisure spending. What's the word?
Yeah, like unallocated money.
Yeah, let's say 5,000, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
Discretionary fund.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, go for it. But then again, I don't know. I don't know when she will be getting it.
Well, I mean, I think she's trying to mentally prepare and financially prepare and be a responsible purse owner
Sure.
and be like, hey, is this the right? I mean, first of all, she's in the right spot just even thinking about this. And not just being like, oh, I'm going to put it on my credit card and never think about it again. So she's in the right spot. This seems like a fiscally responsible person. From my perspective, I think what you had said is obviously right. It doesn't matter how much money you make. They always like focus on how much money you can make a year. Can you buy a watch, or can you buy a purse, or can you buy a car, or whatever. None of that matters. What matters is how much money you have left over after you spend all the things you have to spend money on. Because if she makes $140,000 a year, which is $11,000 a month or so.
Before tax.
After tax, especially in New York, and after rent, and after car payments, and after presumably student loans, right? I mean, that leaves you with maybe $4,000 in money that you can spend on other things.
Correct.
So a Kelly or Birkin, I mean, those are both around $10,000.
Yeah, 10,000.
Depending on what you get.
Yeah.
I think that'd be okay to buy it, assuming you don't have other really bad. I mean, because especially in New York, you're gonna eat out a lot, right? No, you don't.
I would.
Yeah, you can't really cook at home that much,
Sure.
especially at 29, single. You're like, woo, let's go party, right? So it'd be hard to say exactly how much it is, but if she's a very conservative person and she's looking to buy a bag and she has $4,000 in the discretionary funding,
I say 5.
5,000. I think it'd be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to us, right?
Sure.
Let's make this about us now. So, so when we were in a similar situation, and of course it can't be an ideal situation, ideally similar situation, because there's two of us, right?
Yes.
So you weren't a single 29-year-old living in New York making $140,000 a year at that time. When we got first offered our first quota bag ever, how did that process run through your mind? Because me as a husband, I was like, just do the numbers, like, oh, we have the money, it makes you happy, let's get it, right? Let's call it a day.
I think it was too fast and I didn't expect anything. That's why
That's how we got married.
no, that's why I almost had a regret after and kind of questioned myself. It's like, oh, should I have bought this bag?
You had regrets about it?
Yeah, at that moment.
Oh, okay.
Maybe because we got the bag in the morning, we went to the store in the morning,
Yeah.
and that afternoon, I was like, oh, maybe we should just return this. Like, why we bought
Can you
this?
return Hermes bags?
I think so. You can return anything, but I think you don't get money back. You get like the store credits. I don't know. I don't know. I never return anything, but I think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's so many thoughts like, oh, like why maybe this is not, we shouldn't have spent the money, and yeah. But then after that, I was like, F it.
Did you feel that it was like a financial burden at the time, or like, oh, we're making a really bad financial, or what were the preoccupations with it? Because obviously it's expensive, that's fine, but
I know that we had the mean to buy at that time.
Yeah.
I know, like, obviously, like we bought it, but I feel like almost selfish of buying it because like we kind of share the same money spending.
Yeah.
It's almost like, oh, I'm using the money that we could do something else together. But yeah, I guess that's at that point, that's how I feel. Or how I felt about it, yeah.
So for this lady, you would say,
Buy.
buy.
It's a buy for sure. If you're watching that Reddit OP, buy it.
So what are some other things that you think should be considered in buying a bag like this? Because for me, it's just like, do you have the money? Also, the other question is, at what level? Where is that line of, you know what, if your income is this high as far as discretionary income, where should you not get it?
If you're single. Because if you're married, you at least discuss this with your husband.
I think this is a good idea.
I think, like always. I mean, sorry, not every marriage couple is the same.
No, yeah.
Some people just like, your money is your money, my money is my money.
Yeah.
But in our quote unquote family, in our household,
Quote unquote marriage that we have together.
in this household, let's call it household, a better word.
Yeah.
In this household, we basically have one pocket, like, you know, one big sack, the bed, sack.
Sack of the bed. Yeah.
Sack of the bed. So yeah, I think a big purchase like that, obviously, you know, like discuss that with your partner first, because you might be like, oh yeah, I have money laying around, like I'm just gonna go use it.
Well, she obviously doesn't have a partner, and that's part of why this.
Understood.
But yeah.
But I'm not referring to that. I'm talking about to other people that might in the same situation say, hey, I'm in the process of thinking, oh, maybe I want to get an MS bag, but I don't know where to start. Or some people think that MS bags are really, really expensive. I mean, they are expensive. They are expensive, but they're not like we not talk. I think it's just because most people will see the secondary market price.
Oh yeah.
So and they would think like, oh, there's no way. Like no. MS actually is not that expensive.
That's a very good point. And also, look, if you go out and buy something like that, and you do have a mixed income household like we do, household. You know, you're really setting yourself up for, you know, down the road the husband shows up with a new Kawasaki motorcycle or something. You know, he's like, surprise. Right? If you don't tell them and have that conversation before, it ends up in like a Cold War over the next 30 years of your marriage.
And we also are not a marriage counselor. Do not take our advice.
No, I'm a marriage counselor. I'll do that one. I'll take that one. I'll take that one. I'm not saying it's good advice, but I'll give you advice on it. All right, so that's. I think that hopefully that advice helps folks out there who have some question about it, because I think it's going to come up, and we'll probably have a discussion in various forms multiple times, because there's so many ways to look at it. But you know, if you did find this helpful, or you thought it was something that you might use in your own life, then you know, don't forget to like and subscribe. Our channel is growing, and again, thank you so much for everybody who subscribed to it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for all of that, and with that, I think that's it. Bye-bye.
Bye.